Hello everyone, my name is Yara ElGazar and my partner is Soumaya Grira. We are senior chemical engineering students at Abu Dhabi University. In this video, we are going to present our undergraduate research competition project. Our research title is Molecular Dynamic Simulation of Graphene Oxide loaded with ionic liquid for selective adsorption of cations. In this project, our mentors are Dr. Hadil Abu Khalifa from the Chemical Engineering Department and Dr. Muhammad Al Khadr from the Mechanical Engineering Department.
Our presentation breakdown is going to be as follows. We'll start by presenting our project objective, then giving a quick background related to the topic we're working on, just to put you in context. Then we'll go through the project steps, the simulation, preliminary results, and finally the conclusion and future work. Our work is related to the field of water desalination, and our objective is to use the molecular dynamics approach to simulate the adsorption of salts to a new adsorbent made of graphene oxide loaded with an ionic liquid. This adsorption process has experimentally proven effective salt removal, and we aim to simulate it to optimize its performance and therefore find a way to enhance the reverse osmosis process.
To be able to simulate the process, we have first to understand it. Reverse osmosis, or simply RO, is one of the techniques that is used for water desalination. It separates salts from water by using a semi-permeable membrane with pressure as driving force. Although this technique is widely used, it has a major drawback, which is membrane fouling. Membrane fouling is caused by inorganic salt deposition, such as calcium and magnesium salts. This fouling decreases the performance of the process because the membrane has to be periodically replaced, which also increases the cost of the process. To solve this problem, an efficient adsorbent should be present in the pretreatment step of the reverse osmosis process, such that the water that will go to the membrane will have a lower percentage of the cations. In our research, we are examining the graphene oxide, which is loaded with ionic liquid, as a potential adsorbent. Graphene oxide is a graphene sheet which is oxidized by using functional groups such as carboxyl and hydroxyl groups. The ionic liquid that we are using is propyl ammonium nitrate. Propyl ammonium nitrate contains two parts. The first part is the propyl ammonium, which contains a positive charge, and the second part is the nitrate, which has a negative charge. The positive charge of the ionic liquid gets attached to the graphene oxide sheet, while the negative part attracts the salt cations from the water.
Along with what my partner has explained, we're also utilizing the approach of molecular dynamics simulation. Molecular dynamics simulation is basically imitating a process or a phenomena on an atomic or a molecular scale using software programs like LAMMPS, for example, which we're using in this project. These programs perform calculations and integrate equations to come up with a trajectory for each particle that resembles real-life behavior to a certain accuracy. Now moving to the project steps. There are three main steps in our project. First, modeling the structure, then defining force fields and all the interactions between the molecules, and then simulating the process. But before we go into the steps, we'll show you how the codes that we write to prepare the simulation look like. Okay, this is the main input file that we use to perform all the simulation and all the modeling. As you can see, it starts with building the structure, creating the atoms, as you can see, then defining all the potentials and interactions, then performing equilibration and minimization. We'll explain all these steps later in the slides, and the final section is applying the dynamics. Now back to the steps. Starting with the first step, which is modeling the structure. We first built or modeled graphene oxide sheets with all their functional groups, as you can see in this picture. And then we modeled the ionic liquid molecule called propyl ammonium nitrate. As you can see here, the molecule has a positive part, which is propyl ammonium, and the negative side, which is nitrate or NO3 negative. And then we built a water bulk with all the ions, or basically the salts that we want to filter out. Then we put all the parts together in this form. This is the water bulk, as you can see, that contains all the salts. And down here is the adsorbent. These are the two graphene oxide sheets, and they're surrounded by molecules of ionic liquid.
After preparing the initial configuration of the system, step 2 was to define the force fields. Force fields are a collection of equations and parameters that defines the interactions between atoms and molecules and the atoms inside the molecules. The accuracy of any molecular dynamics simulation heavily depends on this step. After reviewing literature, we decided to use the reactive force field. The reactive force field simulates chemical reactions through breaking and forming bonds between atoms, which is crucial to our system. The version that we used encounters the interactions between water and functionalized hydrocarbons, which is graphene oxide sheets in our case. Another very important step in any molecular dynamic simulation is the energy minimization. Energy minimization is the process that the software does to find the best atoms configuration that gives the system the minimum energy. In this plot, we can see the energy minimization that we performed. Initially, the energy was very high, then it decreased until it became nearly stable. In this picture, we can see the graphene oxide sheet before and after minimization. And here, if we focus on this purple atom, initially it had 6 bonds, but after minimization, it now is having only 2 bonds, which is theoretically true. Here we can see the full minimized system. Um, we have a wall that pushes the saline water, which is water with molecules. Then the water passes through the adsorbent. After passing through the adsorbent, the water should have lower percentage of ions because some of the ions in the saline water is attracted to the adsorbent.
After minimizing the energy of the system, we start applying dynamics. The first thing here is to deprotonate the graphene oxide sheets, which means removing hydrogen atoms from its carboxyl groups to make it negatively charged and ready to attract the positively charged part of the ionic liquid molecule. As you can see in the next step, this is the graphene oxide sheet, and this is the graphene oxide sheet, and this is the deprotonated carboxyl group, and it got attached to the propyl ammonium cation, which is the positively charged part of the ionic liquid. By this step, the adsorbent is ready. Now, the negatively charged part of the ionic liquid is what's going to attract the salts from the water. As we can see in these pictures, this is the negatively charged part of the ionic liquid, and the purple and lime colors are the magnesium and sodium salts that got attached to the adsorbent from the saline water.
To sum up, what we have done so far is to successfully write the codes that will simulate the adsorption process. And also we have noticed some ion attachment through the simulation trials that we already have done. However, due to some limitations such as technical problems and the long time the simulation runs take, which may go up to weeks, our work is not yet finalized. We are looking forward to determine the percentage of ion attachment to the adsorbent, which is a measure of the adsorbent efficiency. And also we are looking forward to perform parameter sensitivity analysis to optimize the process, in which we will find the conditions which give the optimum results. Thank you for watching. For any questions regarding this presentation, please do not hesitate to contact us on the emails below.